Spotify, and online at rocklandnews.com. Thanks for joining us today. Here is your host, Tom Osa.
Coming up today on Rockland News, a fire in West Haverstraw that started last night and ended late this morning in an old industrial building has been contained. We'll have an update from the West Haverstraw Fire Department directly. The grand jury hands up indictments in Rockland County. A Haverstraw officer was injured in a hit and run during a traffic stop last week. Plus, some updates from last week's Work Smart Business Boot Camp that was held at Dominican University on Wednesday. And finally, an exciting announcement from Rockland News about a new set of upgrades to our podcasting and live streaming system. My name is Tom Osa. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. It is Monday, May 4th. Let me just turn off the music. I have a bad habit of keeping it on and then awkwardly have to turn it off afterwards. But thank you very much for those of you that are joining and listening. It's been a long time since we got together on a Monday. There's been a lot going on in the background that I'm not going to talk about too much, but let's get right into the news and our sponsors, and we'll go over some stuff later on if you're still around. But hopefully we are aiming to do a comprehensive news report based on the many, many things that happen in Rockland County. First of all, today it's 70 degrees right now and all sunny, which is a nice thing to see on a Monday, especially as you're getting into your work week. Tuesday, it's going to be 81 degrees high, partially cloudy, but mostly sunny, and a low of 54 degrees. Wednesday, it's going to be 67 degrees with a slight chance of rain and heavy overcast, 47 degrees in the evening. Thursday, it's going to be cloudy, 55 degrees. Friday, a bit of sunshine is coming through, 60 degrees. And then Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, you're looking at around 60 degrees with a decent chance of rain or some serious overhead. But the further out you go, who the heck knows? The weather changes at the moment. A lot of times. We want to thank some of our sponsors. Let me just cough. We want to thank some of our sponsors for supporting Rockland's News. First of all, our premier sponsor for all of 2026 is the New York Boulders baseball team. They're located in Clover Stadium in Pomona. You can look them up at nyboulders.com. Minor league baseball team, and they are fantastic. We've been to many a game over there, and it's a lot of enjoyment, very family friendly, a great place to bring the kids or even just a few of your friends and hang out, have a cold brew. They're there, they're available. There's usually food trucks and a lot of different events going on. So you got to check it out. And this year, they now have synthetic turf, which basically means you're going to see a lot more special events over there. Right before everything ended, we were the last gig to show up on the regular field, the non-synthetic field. Rockland Music Fest 11 was held over at Clover Stadium on September 27th. And it was a really good time for all. About 1,200 people showed up. $5,000 we donated to Meals on Wheels based on that event. And stay tuned for some announcements on the upcoming Rockland Music Fest 12. We also want to thank the Work Smart New York Business Boot Camp. We held our 4th annual Work Smart over at Dominican University this past Wednesday with our keynote speaker, John Katsimatidis from WABC Radio. And we had a bunch of other speakers, great breakfast. Special thanks to Titanic Deli located in Congers, New York. They did a fantastic job with the food. And to all of the speakers who gave their time and their energy to really inspire the audience there. That includes Joe Barata from JB Real Estate and Company, as well as Hopeton Scott, who is for decades has been a tax advisor, was working as an agent for, I believe, the IRS. And now he's imparting his wisdom and his knowledge from the past 20 years, showing you how to be a lot smarter with your business expenses, your taxes, and all that. And you can learn more about him at bfcteam.com. We also have Yabu Fence Company, yabufence.com for all of your fencing needs. Dana Pest Control, located in Tompkins Cove, 3rd generation, family owned. They can get rid of all the pests in your house, except for your relatives. That's something they can't handle. But everything else, ticks, termites, bees. I saw a bee in my house before. I tried to get him out safely so that his life force wasn't affected. He got out. And also, I should note, in case you just want to get rid of these guys, they also have very eco-friendly solutions at danapestcontrol.com. And finally, Easy Temp, located in Hackensack, New Jersey, for all your ice machine and refrigeration, commercial refrigeration repairs. You go to easytemp.net, and they do serve the Hudson Valley, including Rockland County. We got a bunch more sponsors that we're going to mention later on. Fiesta Acapulco's got its Cinco de Mayo party happening tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Kobe Sushi with their jazz music lounge. Breakpoint Bowling has a new offer. If you mention Rockland's News, you get a $10 gift card so that you can go in and you can play video games in the entertainment complex. But we'll talk all about that later. Let's really just get right into the news because there's a lot that happened even overnight. So I'm just going to pause to take a sip of water and I'll be right back. Okay. A large structure fire that broke out late Sunday night in West Haverstraw, really just down the road from where I live, has now been contained, with the scene officially turned over to the sheriff's department for further investigation. The fire seems to have started around 11:30 p.m. on Sunday evening, on May 3rd, at the long abandoned former Temco uniform factory on Sampsondale Avenue, specifically 29 Sampsondale Avenue. When the firefighters arrived, and this was a five-department fire, you're talking about the Stony Point Fire Department, the Haverstraw Fire Department, the West Haverstraw Fire Department, and several others. When they arrived, flames were reporting shooting from multiple parts of the building. Now, due to the building's unstable condition, it's been vacant for over 20 years. It's already been compromised. So crews battled the fire from the outside to avoid risking injuries to any of the firefighters. There was a confirmation that there were no humans inside of the facility. So large portions of the structure were already on fire. The fire department members battled the fire from outside, and ultimately portions of the structure ultimately collapsed under the weight of the fire underneath it. Now, although the fire was initially brought under control, it actually reignited on early Monday morning. And here's where I come into play. I'm hearing sirens at 6 o'clock in the morning. So we mobilized our news team, obviously. Hotspots continued to burn beneath layers of debris, and crews were using heavy equipment to break apart the rubble, and that way you can fully extinguish the remaining flames. The fire also impacted nearby freight rail lines operated by CSX Transportation, temporarily halting the train traffic during the height of the blaze. Now, there's no confirmation as to what caused the fire. Um, in the past, it should be noted that CSX, that train line, there have been fires along the train line over there. This may have nothing to do with that. It's one possibility of several. It could be arson. It could just be just a genuine, some sort of inflammatory material finally caught fire. So there is going to be somewhat of an investigation. It's going to start with the sheriff's department, but officials have confirmed that no injuries were reported, including no firefighters. We spoke with one of the members on site over at the West Haverstraw Fire Department. He asked that his name not be added into this publication because he said West Haverstraw Fire Department, all for one, one for all. It was actually kind of a cool thing that he mentioned. For those of you that want more information about the West Haverstraw Fire Department, you can go to volhose23.com. I'll read that again. VOL hose, that's HOSE, 23.com. And you can learn more about the cool stuff that they do. And kudos to all of the fire departments that participated in extinguishing the blaze, because as you know, if they didn't, it could have endangered the surrounding community. Actually, just as a side note, one of our close colleagues over at Rockland's News lives literally a block away. So we're very thankful over here that nobody was hurt inside and outside of the fire department. And they did confirm that there's no danger to the surrounding community. Right now, the site has been turned over to the sheriff's department for investigation, and there's no word on the what who owns the property. The cause of the fire is still under investigation, and we'll continue to follow that story as we move along. The Rockland County District Attorney's Office announced the conclusion of its third and fourth grand jury terms of 2026, handing up 28 indictments across the two terms. District Attorney Thomas Walsh II said the fourth term alone, running from April 3rd to 29th, yielded 15 indictments. The cases included Sean A. Laurie for burglary and criminal mischief, Moro Zumba Baronis on charges of attempted murder, burglary, and assault, and Ana Guillermo de Schuerer for grand larceny and identity theft. The third term, from March 6th to April 1st, produced 13 indictments, and charges ranged from predatory sexual assault against a child and aggravated driving while intoxicated with a child, to burglary and grand larceny. Prosecutors emphasize that indictment is an accusation and defendants are presumed innocent until proven guilty. A sure sign of spring in Rockland County is the return of the Great American Cleanup. Keep Rockland Beautiful is a partner of Rockland's News. This year, Orangetown's government has joined forces with them, keeprocklandbeautiful.org, a not for profit that organizes community cleanup events across the county. Now, the initiative invites residents to volunteer their time to pick up litter from the streets, parks, and other public spaces. Organizers provide supplies and outline safety protocols, encouraging families and individuals of all ages to participate. Past cleanups have seen thousands of volunteers join in, including one of our reporters in the field, Joanne Lewis Paul, who helped in a cleanup multiple times in Spring Valley and is an ardent proponent of a walkway slash bike path that she's been working on for quite some time, and she's advocated for it. It seems like a really cool idea. Stay tuned. We'll have an interview with her once again on Rockland's News. But volunteers for Keep Rockland Beautiful and on these Great American Cleanups, they can earn community service hours, they can build neighborhood pride, and help reduce litter before it flows into local waterways. And registration is open on the Keep Rockland's Beautiful website. You could be a prospective volunteer. You could choose to clean up on your own or join one of the events. It basically, Orangetown is in on this, but all of the different towns are in on this commitment to making the environment better. And I go back to, like, let's say, for instance, the 90s. I think the last time where I just dropped trash, inordinately on the side of the road or whatever must have been when I was like about, I don't know, 23 or 24 years old. And I still felt bad about it. So these days, it's all about recycling, making sure that things get put in the right containers. I can't say that I'm contributing back to my carbon footprint yet. Who the heck knows when that bill is going to show up? But at least right now, I think we're taking care of the things, the materials that need to be disposed properly via garbage recycling, and just being like, not a Mama Luke and leaving your trash around. Basically, it comes down to clean up after yourself. So we here at Rockland's News are a big fan of Keep Rockland's Beautiful's efforts. And again, if you you just do a Google search, Keep Rockland's Beautiful or keeprocklandbeautiful.org. If you know how to type in a web address, I'm sure you do. Some don't, but I'm sure you do. Keeprocklandbeautiful.org. And you can learn more about how to be a volunteer during the Great American Cleanup. Yeah. By the way, how's this sound? I'm just curious. Like, for those of you that are listening, please write a comment on Rockland News and let us know if the sound is too high, too low, because we have a new podcast board. I'm staring at it. It's got all these amazing colors on it. Makes me very happy. We've been leading up to this for a while, by the way, ladies and germs. Myself, as well as Mike, our co-host, sometimes we get somebody calling in from South Carolina, kind of like as a goof. He's a really cool dude, but we do some joking phone calls and everything. But we never had like a righteous podcast board. And we noted many times that people that listened in, they're like, dude, you sound like you're in an echo chamber, like upgrade your equipment. We had the equipment, we just couldn't install it yet because there were so many projects that were going on here at once that we just didn't devote the time to doing that. And for that, I want to apologize to you. for the reduction in quality in the first quarter of 2026. Sometimes, let's put it this way, the ambitious person climbs, but the faithful person builds. And we wanted to make sure that we did this right when we launched it so that we could put the fear in the eyes and ears of our competitors. Not really. We actually don't care. It's like nice to have other news organizations around, but hey, we're Rockland's News. All right, some more news over here, and we'll tell you more about that podcast board in a little while. It's pretty cool. We'll have some interviews around, I don't know, the podcast board. Okay, a Railroad Avenue resident recently returned to a neighborhood forum, which has got to be the North Rockland community, after a delivery service left a package at the wrong house. Misdelivered packages are more common than people realize. This sounds like a public service announcement, by the way. Somebody stuck this in. And they can create confusion and potential legal pitfalls. Postal experts, Postal experts advise that if you receive someone else's mail, do not open it and instead write return to sender dash wrong address across the envelope before leaving it for pickup. So opening mail addressed to someone else is actually a federal offense, in case anybody didn't realize that. Yeah, you can, let's say you have something right across the street. Like, let's say Maud lives across the street or something, right? And you get an envelope that, like, it just says whatever the address is, and you're 123 Main Street, they're 125 Main Street, and you just randomly open it, you can end up in federal prison, dude. So, like, don't do that. It says here up to 5 years in prison. And if you're missing a package, check with your neighbors first and contact the sender, the delivery company. There's a whole process. So just be careful. Nobody wants to go to jail. And you could avoid that apparently by not opening other people's packages. Residents near Town Line Road rallied after a neighbor reported that their beloved cat went missing. Pet recovery experts noted that many lost cats remain close to home. Kat Albrecht, a pet detective, explains that cats often hide close to home, typically within a third of a mile of where they escaped. A study of more than 1,200 missing cats found that 75% of these cats were found alive because people actively searched, crawling under bushes, checking sheds, porches, and asking permission to search neighbors' properties. Experts suggest searching thoroughly inside and outside the house, expanding the search 3 to 5 houses in either direction, and enlisting neighbors' help is the typical process for finding if you got your lost fur baby out there pretty close. Putting out familiar items such as a litter box is less effective than physically looking. And the main takeaway of this is, regardless if you're missing your cat, don't give up right away. Most missing cats, they're reunited with their families within 2 months or sooner. And I remember a few years ago, I had a relative of mine, definitely an ardent cat lover. I will say that we're more dog people over here, but my sister is a cat lover. Well, we had a few, let's just say, outside cats around the neighborhood, and the mother of that family gave birth. So my sister saw these little kitties, and she's like, "Oh my god, I want them!" And we got a box, she took them, and she's taking care of them. I was amazed. It's My sister's got a pretty much a heart of gold. I just want to say that. If anybody debates that, we'll have words. But that is the story. Oh, and also I want to give a huge shout out to Dr. Eric and Arlene from Whole Health Wellness. I believe that's the name of the organization. Dr. Eric is a chiropractor in Pomona, and Dr. Arlene, she has been a cat caring cat individual for many, many years. I remember when I did some work with her on the Save High Tour and then later Rebuild High Tour efforts. Thankfully, a new animal shelter is being built by Rockland Green, and mission accomplished after, geez, like about 10 years. Pretty amazing. But Dr. Arlene also manages a very, very comprehensive, I'll say, cat parents group. It's called Rockland County Cat Parents. You could search for it on Facebook. and she manages the group quite well. It's her passion. She actually turned over the Ramapo community group to me. Thank you, Arlene. Hopefully, we're doing a good job with it. And she's taking care of that group. She had a little problem getting back into her Facebook account, but Johnny on the spot, Dr. Eric Goldman, who's also an accomplished conga drummer, I will say that, he was able to find a way to get her back in. And hey, guys, we did it. We have oversight over the various Facebook groups all over Rockland. So thank you guys for your help. Thank you to those that are listening. We can obviously gather information and report it, God willing, objectively on Rockland's news. Moving on to the next item over here. When a young woman was reported missing near Congress Station, neighbors quickly organized a search. According to the Missing Persons Guide, community led searches should begin by appealing to trusted friends, family, and local groups when police resources are limited. Organizers should obtain permission from landowners and coordinate with law enforcement before entering private property. Volunteers should be recorded for accountability, and children under the age of 18 should not participate. Searches work best when teams of 8 to 12 people are assigned to specific grid areas and when communication channels are established via social media or messaging apps. GPS tracking tools can help too. There's one called Strava, by the way. All Trails, off the top of my head, alltrails.com, can record searched areas. And the whole idea is safety first. Volunteers should be carrying first aid kits, wearing the appropriate clothing, especially at night. You got to have like the lights on and everything like that, preferably flashing or like neon or something so you can go to a rave, and avoid touching potential evidence. Now, these best practices help communities support families while maintaining order and safety. Now, on a more serious note, a town of Haverstraw police officer was hospitalized after being struck by a fleeing vehicle during a traffic stop on April 29th. Local authorities said that the incident began when officers tried to pull over a vehicle, which then accelerated away. In the process, the vehicle hit one of the officers, who suffered non life threatening injuries and was conscious when transported to the hospital. The officer and the driver have not been publicly identified as of yet. Police have launched an investigation reviewing body camera and dash camera footage and seeking witnesses. Authorities urged anyone with information to come forward as they continue to search for the fleeing driver. The incident highlights the dangers officers face during routine traffic enforcement and stops. A New York State judge has ruled that Democratic congressional candidate Effie Phillips Staley would remain on the ballot despite evidence of fraudulent signatures on her nominating petitions. The court invalidated 829 signatures, but found that Phillips Staley still had more than 2,000 valid ones, enough to qualify. Incumbent Republican Representative Mike Lawler, who sued to have his challenger removed, reacted strongly. He said the ruling made clear that her campaign allowed numerous individuals to fraudulently collect signatures and called on the Westchester District Attorney's Office and the FBI to open a criminal investigation. Lawler argued that filing hundreds of fraudulent signatures is beyond disqualifying and questioned what level of fraud is permissible in a campaign. Philip Staley countered that the suit was an attempt to disenfranchise voters and vowed to stay in the race. The dispute underscores the razor tight competition in New York's 17th congressional district and the heightened scrutiny around ballot access. The Community Foundation of Orange, Sullivan, and Rockland announced that 5 local animal welfare organizations will receive grants from the Hudson Valley Animal Shelter Fund. After a review process, the foundation awarded funds to the Cavalier Cove Pet Pantry, the Humane Society of Walden, Victory Hill Therapeutic Horsemanship, Catskill Animal Rescue, and the Warwick Valley Humane Society. The Cavalier Cove Pet Pantry will use its grant to provide free pet food and supplies to owners facing financial hardship. The Humane Society of Walden plans to repair its roof and facade, while Victory Hill will improve programs that pair rescued horses with people with special needs. Catskill Animal Rescue will bolster shelter care and medical support, and the Warwick Valley Humane Society will expand enrichment and training programs for animals. The Hudson Valley Animal Shelter Fund was created in memory of Jean A. Rowe and has awarded more than $130,000 to various organizations across the Hudson Valley since 2015. Same year when Rockland Music Fest started. Originally, it was called Under the Bridge at Lowlands Park, now called Charles C. Ecker Park in Stony Point. And stay tuned in the next few weeks because we might have a reboot of the old Stony Music Fest. I don't know what it's going to be called, but we got a little help from our friends. And stay tuned. You're going to see these festivals pop up. Since we've been doing them for the last 11 years, I think we got the template down pretty good. Economic development leaders announced the official launch of Rock Solid Rockland County, a program aimed at boosting the county's construction and real estate sectors. I don't know why I'm so excited about. All right, the Rockland Business Association, in partnership with the county's Department of Economic Development and Tourism and the Rockland Industrial Development Agency, will host a launch luncheon and panel discussion on May 14th at the Hilton Pearl River. The event promises a high-impact luncheon that offers attendees a front row seat to the strategy shaping Rockland's biggest year in decades. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It is the biggest year in decades, 2026. And the panelists are expected to outline new initiatives to attract investment, streamline permitting, and promote workforce development. By the way, if you're interested in getting a job, head over to rocklandjobs.org. Get a job will help over at Rockland's News. And new jobs are being posted almost every day at rocklandjobs.org. There's also a 15,000 person strong Facebook group called the Rockland Employment Group. All you got to do, again, search for Rockland Jobs. You'll find it right away. And it's on Facebook. 15,000 people. If you're looking to anonymously or preferably not anonymously post that you're looking for work, that is ground zero for getting work. Gigs, jobs, literally legitimate stuff. Like, for instance, I mean, it's all legitimate, right? Because we want to be gainfully employed. Okay. But let's say, for instance, if you're looking for a state police job, you could head over to rocklandjobs.org. If you're looking to be a park ranger over in Bear Mountain, you can head over to rocklandjobs.org. If you're looking for seasonal work, delivery work, restaurant work, maybe if you want to be a bartender in a tavern, or a barber that's cutting hair for local residents. Maybe you want to hand out flyers. Maybe you want to be a typist. Head over to rocklandjobs.org. All right, enough about that. Anyway, Rock Solid Rockland County launches with a luncheon and a panel that's going to be on May 14th at the Hilton Pearl River. I should note that you do have to register in advance, but it is 100% FREE free. We like that around here. And the way that you do it is you head over to rocklandbusiness.org and sign up for free. A lot of things happening, a lot of things. For instance, the Nanuet Chamber of Commerce is hosting a network event at Fink's Barbecue and Cheesesteak Roadhouse. Yeah, we're going to go to that. The Greater Nanuet Chamber of Commerce is inviting members and prospective members to a spring networking event. The gathering is going to be held at Fink's Barbecue and Cheesesteak Roadhouse. It's a popular eatery located at 32 Orange Avenue in Suffern. Fink's Barbecue is known for its smoked meats and cheesesteaks and has been serving Rockland County diners, the people that dine, for years. Attendees can enjoy the restaurant's casual atmosphere while meeting local business owners, sharing ideas, and learning about upcoming chamber initiatives. The networking night is also an opportunity for the chamber to welcome new members and highlight the value of building relationships over good food. Let me give you a little bit crimp notes on that. It used to be called Ireland's, if I'm not mistaken, at least where Fink's Barbecue was before. It was right off of Lafayette Avenue, and a few of my pals and I would go there pretty much all the time on Wednesdays for wing night. It was pretty darn awesome. So I'm just headed over to nanuetchamber.com and I'm just going to tell you what the details for this. So there's a few different events. First of all, the Fink's barbecue thing, you can go look for it, but I'm going to tell you about the other event, which is actually much more today sort of thing. Like it's something that's going to be happening this week, basically, is on Wednesday, May 6th, over at Ruby's Wine Bar in Nanuet. There's going to be an upcoming chamber board of directors election and networking event. So if you go to this, you'll be connecting with fellow members for just $10. You cast your vote on who you want to run the Nanuet Chamber of Commerce, and you, if you want to be on the board, you would be a part of shaping the future of the local business community. And remember, 61 cents of every dollar that's spent in a small business stays in that area. Those are statistics from American Express. They run the Small Business Saturday program every year, something that the local Chamber of Commerces are all about. But at this event on May 6th, and it's going to run from 5:30 to 7:30, you'll be able to enjoy a happy hour drink special, complimentary appetizers. Literally, the appetizers will stand up and say, "Oh, you have a very nice tie on," while building valuable relationships in a relaxed setting. I really like this new microphone. They look forward, not me. They look forward to seeing you there. And the event is open to greater Nanuet Chamber members, but also non-chamber members as well. For those of you that are interested in getting involved in your local Chamber of Commerce, there is a wave coming. It's already started with the 7 different Chamber of Commerces across Rockland. If you want to learn more about any of the chambers in Rockland County, we have a great website for that as well, and you're going to go to rocklandchamber.org. We've had that website for quite some time, and it's basically a rundown and links to all of the 7 chambers of commerce across Rockland County: Nanuet, New City, North Rockland, Nyack, Pearl River, Sloatsburg, and Suffern. If Piermont ever decides to call us back, we'll add them too, but they haven't. So I hope they're doing well. It's all good. A lot of you know that I have been an ardent, not just a supporter, but a volunteer, sometimes president, sometimes not, on the North Rockland Chamber of Commerce. My last stint was as secretary with the North Rockland Chamber. That time ended at the end of 2024. Notably, since then, the board that is there, they still are there since I left. They're an awesome board. Every one of them, they really care about the local business community, and it kind of gives me a warm fuzzy. I mean that. They really work hard. Again, they're a volunteer organization, and you can learn more about them at northrocklandchamber.org. I'll give you a few examples of a few things that they've been doing. They just did a networking event over at Lynch's on the Green, which is located over in Pomona, Thiels, I should say, at the Philip Rotella Golf Course, lynchesnewyork.com. If you go in there, it's just a beautiful place. So the North Rockland Chamber held an event there last Wednesday night. They gave out awards, for instance, to the Haverstraw Center, to several other community-minded members. They also have launched the second Junior Chamber of Commerce in all of Rockland County. Now, I'm jealous because, quite frankly, I wish I thought of getting a junior chamber of commerce established. I might have had some additional help in the 2010s, but it's okay. These ideas happen when they happen, and the new board came up with the idea. Susan from the Nanuet Chamber, she was the brainchild for the first junior chamber of commerce in Rockland, and Stephanie Malowski, along with the board of the North Rockland Chamber, they recently established the second Junior Chamber of Commerce. Awesome. They announced some of the members of that chamber. And again, the whole idea is to get more business going in Rockland by any and all means necessary. And remember, like I said, 61 cents of every dollar that's spent in a small business stays in that business, in that general community. So it really helps with the local taxes and everything. You're contributing to your community, really, when you're contributing to the local economy and to the small business. And hey, we're a small business. Maybe you're a small business. You can learn more about the North Rockland Chamber at northrocklandchamber.org. Okay, we have some announcements. First of all, Fiesta Acapulco is going to be doing its Cinco de Mayo celebration. As a matter of fact, I'm going to play some music to that because yay. That's right. We have music now off of the soundboard. I'm very happy about it. Okay, so Fiesta Acapulco. I know this isn't Spanish music, but still, it's music. So we got our new podcast board. We're messing around with it. But Fiesta Acapulco, they're having their event tomorrow, pretty much all day, from when they open to when they close. And it is going to be a festive time. For those of you that don't know about Cinco de Mayo, let me just give you a quick rundown of what the holiday is all about, because it is a very Spanish-themed holiday, and you might not know much about it. So I'm just going to bring up some information and tell you about it. All right. So, and I hope you enjoyed the music. I don't even know if it was too loud or not. If somebody could tell me that in the comments. Again, I'm by myself today. Mike isn't here, so you have to help me out, studio audience. We do look at the comments, by the way, afterwards. Like every last comment, we look at it. Okay, Cinco de Mayo is an annual celebration held on May 5th to celebrate Mexico's victory over the Second French Empire at the Battle of Puebla in 1862, led by General Ignacio Zaragoza. Zaragoza died months after the battle from an illness, however, and a larger French force ultimately defeated the Mexican army at the Second Battle of Puebla and then occupied Mexico City. But they held it down for a while. It's kind of similar, actually, to what happened at the Battle of Stony Point. Our American troops weren't called Americans yet, but it was like, the revolutionary troops. They took over Stony Point battlefield. If you check what happened afterwards, a few days later, the British came and retook the property. But that was the warning signal to the British. It's like, Rockland and Stony Point isn't just going to fall over and say, sure, you can have it. They wouldn't go without a fight. So that is Cinco de Mayo. Following the end of the American Civil War in 1865, several years later after the Cinco de Mayo battle, the United States began lending money and guns to the Mexican liberals, pushing France and Mexican conservatives to the edge of defeat. At the opening of the French chambers in January 1866, Napoleon III announced that he would take French troops out of Mexico. And in reply to a French request for American neutrality, the American Secretary of State, William Seward, who eventually went on to become president, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just put my mouse over this to see earlier. No, I'm sorry. United States Senator. My bad. Shame on me. I have a history degree. I should have known that. Anyway, he replied to Napoleon that the French withdrawal from Mexico would be unconditional. So there is that. More popular in the United States than in Mexico, Cinco de Mayo has become associated with the celebration of Mexican-American culture. Celebrations began in Columbia, California, where they have been observed annually since 1862. It's amazing. And the day gained nationwide popularity beyond those of Mexican-American heritage in the late 1980s due to advertising campaigns by beer, wine, and tequila companies. Why would they do that? Cinco de Mayo generates beer sales on par with the Super Bowl in Mexico. The commemoration of the battle continues to be mostly ceremonial, such as through military parades or battle reenactments. But the city of Puebla marks the event with various festivals and reenactments of the battle. And for those of you that are interested in maybe one day checking out that particular area, Puebla, Mexico, I do highly recommend some really cool travel agents. I'm actually going to bring up the information on one right here. He's been an often guest of the show. That's Scott Walters. I just want to bring up his information, so hang on. Here we go. Dream Vacations. That's the name of it. Scott Walters from Dream Vacations. He was a guest on the show, And he can definitely get you set up with going to Mexico, Colombia, California, or tonight, Fiesta Acapulco. They'll probably give you directions. He's that helpful. He's that helpful. I really have to say, I'm impressed with the gentleman. Okay, so Fiesta Acapulco, and stay tuned for a Rockland's News coupon discount. If you mention Rockland's News tomorrow over at Fiesta Acapulco, you're going to get something for free. And there's other places where you can get some great deals. For instance, over at Breakpoint Bowling, if you mention Rockland's News at their new entertainment complex, they actually put $2 million of work into this complex in West Haverstraw, New York. It used to be Low Tour, or is it High Tour Bowling? Low Tour, High Tour, whatever bowling. It is now called Breakpoint Bowling. And if you mention Rockland's News when you sign in, you get a $10 video game gift card that you can play. They got this huge video game room. They got laser tag, they got all this stuff, but you could use the $10 gift card for free if you mention Rockland's News. If you mention Rockland's News over at Kobe Sushi, located in New City, New York, on any given night, you'll get $15 off of your entire sushi order, minimum $75. I should note that. If you go to Whole Shop Bagels and you mention Rockland's News, you get a free bagel, first time only. You can't have the rest of your breakfast for the rest of the month. Okay. First timers. Okay. And there's a whole bunch of other offers that we're going to be rolling out. We've been really working hard this entire winter to make sure that we delivered the best possible news product for you. And, today is just the start of many higher quality live streams, many more higher quality podcasts. And oh, by the way, one more thing. Starting on Thursday, we're going to have video podcasts. And I want to give a special shout out to Brian. You know who you are. And we're going to be able to use this really amazing podcast studio. And other podcasts are posted there. So it's not just us, but we appreciate using the facility. We already have 3 guests booked. So we got Jenna Nazario and Beth Cefalu from Rockland County Government. They're going to be talking about the upcoming Global Rhythms events that are happening around the time of the World Cup that is occurring this summer over at MetLife Stadium, located in East Rutherford, New Jersey. Those tickets go for around $1,000 to $1,500 just to walk in the door and use binoculars to look at the field. But in Rockland County, it seems that there's going to be a lot more events at local pubs and establishments. We're going to have several of them on these podcasts. For instance, huge shout out to District 96, located in Nyack, as well as in New City, as well as Noble Experiment Brewing Company, located in West Nyack, New York. So it's going to be really busy. I should also note that our musicians from Rockland's Music Fest and Stony Music Fest are very active right now. They're booking gigs. As a matter of fact, Hush, who was with the Nanuet Town Center summer concert series that we held last year, they performed this weekend in Stony Point. And they did an amazing job. Special shout out to Raymond Pingloria for running the sound on that event. Those guys are amazing. They actually did a few of the bands that were over at Rockland Music Fest over at Clover Stadium, where the New York Boulders play. So it was pretty amazing all the way through. And we're looking forward to this entire spring, summer, maybe the fall, before we start winding down and hibernating again. We're looking forward to doing a lot more of these podcasts and episodes. And a huge shout out to the entire development team in the background, not just at Rockland's News, but at Rock Web Systems, where we have graphic designers, videographers, content writers, literally 6 web developers that can help anybody with their needs. You can learn more at rocklandsnews.com or go to rocklandsweb.com for our graphic design and video production services. So I guess that's about it. I don't want to stay on the air too long. I'll get boring. You might have left already, but that's okay. So let's just end with thanking our sponsors. Let's go to the music. And again, to those of you that have checked in and listened to this live stream today, thank you for being patient as we redid our entire podcast studio. I think it's going to be a really It's definitely an enhancement. I can already feel the difference from the quality of the equipment. We wanted to make sure that we got the right things, and we actually did our research on this. We just took a little bit more time than we expected. Like 19 years. No, it's like about 4 months. Okay. So for those of you that are here, stay tuned. Our next live stream is going to be on Tuesdays at approximately 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we'll have various government officials talking about this and that. We'll also have the small business spotlight at 3:30 p.m. And finally, at 4 o'clock, we'll have the financial matters component where we talk about local finance, stuff for accountants, real estate, mortgage. You got to have one of those. I mean, I remember when we were doing this stuff over at WRCR, and I wasn't on the air, but I was listening to the different shows that are on the air over there. And you could tell there's a whole bunch of different shows that may not be in anyone's specific wheelhouse, but it's definitely helpful to really add to the scope of what Rockland's news can do, just like WRCR for many years. And finally, before we get into our advertiser thank yous, I want to give a special thank you to John Katsimatidis from WABC Radio, literally the owner of WABC Radio through Red Apple Media Group. So, John, for those of you that are familiar with him, he has a rags to riches stories, basically. He started out as, just taking care of the family and going to work at a very young age, grocery store, a clerk, just basically learning how to do it right. Kind of reminds me when I was in my family's bike store at the age of 8, slowly learning how to work. Kudos to my grandfather. Eventually, over the course of time, after turning down a possible um, induction into West Point as a cadet, he decided against it. He decided to go to work in a local business by his friend Tony that owns a grocery store. And that's where he got his start in the business world. And slowly but surely, over the course of, I believe, about 60 years, he was able to turn his first career into the essence of being a billionaire. Now, I'm not looking to be a billionaire. You're probably not looking to be a billionaire. You might be saying to yourself, why deal with all that stress? Some people end up as billionaires, whether they want to or not. It's just the way that the tide turns and different things happen. So fast forward to last Wednesday. We've been speaking with John on and off over the last several months since WRCR Radio transitions their frequency. They sold it to Red Apple Media Group, and currently WABC Radio is simulcasting. So we've been having conversations because we used to host the WRCR website, and we wanted to make sure that there was an orderly transition, which there is. Everything's rolling nice and smoothly. I'm not sure. I haven't checked if the FCC has authorized the transition of the frequency from Alexander Medekovich's corporation over to Mr. Katsimatidis' corporation. But it's in the works. It's probably just paperwork at this point. And they're set up to be able to handle emergency broadcasting, which we know for a fact we are not. That's something that we not only don't want to do, but even if we wanted to do, wouldn't have the wherewithal to do so. It's not in our wheelhouse, and we're happy to say that finally. But we have been talking with Red Apple Media Group. Very nice people over there thus far. I can tell you that. I mean, we've never had an awkward conversation on the phone. There was one awkward voicemail that got fixed, and it actually became a comedy show. But then Mr. Katsimatidis invited me onto his radio show on WABC in order to report about the Palisades Center sale. It was that time where I was over in Brooklyn and I was watching the auction happen, and literally about $230 million worth of value of the Palisades Center was literally wiped out with the drop of the gavel. It was pretty amazing, but it's done. I reported that on WABC. It was just a quick 4 or 5 minute segment. I followed up with Mr. Katsimatidis afterwards, as well as his office, and I said, hey, listen, this is great. I appreciate that you having me on the air. Would you like to maybe one day speak with our business groups? Those of you that we talk, you and I. You know that I'm in a bunch of business groups. So in this case, we were able to connect those business groups with Mr. Katsimatidis via Zoom. And here's where it all comes down to: is last Wednesday we held the fourth annual Work Smart Business Boot Camp. Now I'm really excited about this because it doesn't just ignite a fire in the people that are at these workshops. And this is our fourth annual one that we held. It ignites a fire in me because I get to go back to telling stories real and authentically. And you all know that part of my journey is being a teacher over at Rockland Bose's for 19 years. Um, that's why I talk so much. So this is a bit of an outlet, but I got to tell you, I left my thing for the end because Mr. Katsimatidis was on for a good 20 to 25 minutes talking about a lot of ways where people, business owners, can use that energy, that, dare I say, that God given energy to be able to make something of themselves, even if they come from scratch. And for those of you that want to learn more about how John Katsimatidis' his career has spanned over the many decades, you could catch this on Amazon. It's How Far Do You Want to Go? Lessons from a Common Sense Billionaire by John Katsimatidis. I speed listened to the audiobook on Spotify on the way back from the Palisades Center sale about a month and a half ago. And I have to tell you, it's a really good listen or a really good read, either way, whichever the way you digest your information. So check it out. And I think it's a pretty cool book that will help people around here understand what it really takes in order to make that big leap, in order to take whatever you want to take to the next level. And for those of you that have sponsored Rockland's News over the last, I'd say 5 years now, especially Dana Pest Control, Yabu Fence Company, Easy Temp located in Hackensack, New Jersey. And I got to give a shout out to my friend Juan over at Fiesta Acapulco. And they'll be celebrating that Cinco de Mayo, but they won't be celebrating alone. It's going to be a lot of festivity there. I'll be very happy to be there tomorrow. It's going to be a really fun time, really cool atmosphere. So love you, Juan. Thank you for supporting local music. You are awesome. So that's it for today. We're not going to linger anymore. I appreciate those of you that have been listening in. We got a lot more happening this week. And stay tuned. If you have any questions, by the way, coming this week, I know. Wait, there's more. Coming this week, you'll be able to call in and you'll be able to be on the air live and talk with us here at Rockland's News. So you can really relate your story and everything. It's still going to be awkward, but like I said, one step, one brick at a time. We are building this thing so it is strong and will last for generations to come. All right. Thanks for being here. Here's Alana.
You're listening to Rockland News, available on Apple, Spotify, and online at rocklandnews.com. Thanks for joining us today. Here are your hosts, Tom Osa and Mike Kluger.
Ah, damn it. I knew I was going to screw something up. I didn't put the right announcement on. Mike's not here. It's just me. I had to deal with me the whole day. All right, let's thank our sponsors. First of all, the New York Boulders baseball team. They got their 15th annual season happening this month. You can learn more at nyboulders.com. Tickets on sale now. We also have Fiesta Acapulco. They're going to be having Cinco de Mayo tomorrow. You got to check it out. Kobe Sushi with their jazz music lounge. Breakpoint Bowling. Welcome to Rockland's News. Whole Shop Bagels. The UPS store in West Haverstraw. Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy. Susan Bova from Coldwell Banker Realty, and 99 Signs. A business without a sign is a sign of no business. I'm your host, Tom Osa, and thanks for joining us.